Good evening. Welcome back to another video. This is Dawn. Hello from the beauty room. Hello, the beauty room family. God bless you all. I hope you all are having a really great week so far and getting ready for your Thanksgiving meal prep, going grocery shopping, going Christmas shopping even now, so you can get the great deals, or going after the day after Thanksgiving for Black Friday sales to really get your family and friends, your significant other, your husband, your partner in life, for some Christmas ideas and gift ideas that they've been wanting since last year. So yeah, I hope we are getting those things ready this week. And yes, so we're going to get right started in tonight's video because I'm in a new position in the beauty room. So I hope you like this position. I think it's a lot better. It's more room, and then my office is right here next to me, so I can really go over here and do some work, get some ideas, write in my planner and write in my journal if I want, when I have days off, just to really, take some time out for myself and really enjoy my time. And yes, sorry I haven't had did a video the other day because I just been really tired and really working a lot because, I told you in yesterday's video about our work schedule is crazy right now. So, and if you're new, welcome to the Beauty Room channel. Thank you for just stopping by, or if you just subscribed, welcome to the Beauty Room family as well. Thank you so much for just looking at my YouTube and looking at a small growing YouTube like myself. And when you do support my channel and subscribe, thank you so much for supporting it with YouTube. So thank you so much. I appreciate you all so much. The Beauty Room family, you are always in my heart, my thoughts, and my prayers. So thank you all so much for who you are and who you definitely are. So yeah, so this is part 2 to my Thanksgiving meal and dinner prep. So we're going to get right started into the seasonings that I use for my roast, or you can use these for your turkey as well. I forgot to get the turkey bag. Oh man, I forgot to put the oven bag into my crock pot. Oh, that's okay. I will do it again this time again. So, I just thought about an idea that I forgot to when I do my like my pot roast. I like to put an oven bag in the pot roast and then put my meat and then add extra seasoning into it. So I already told you how I do my roast, but I'll tell you again. So please make sure you're sitting back, relaxing, watching this video. You got the kids in bed and your husband or your partner in life is in bed already, getting ready for the rest of the work week, and you're getting about to get ready for the rest of the work week, or if you have off. So yeah, make sure you grab something to drink, grab something a snack, and take notes with pen and paper, with a notepad or whatever, or notebook that you write with is totally fine. So you can definitely get these ideas for your next Thanksgiving meal, or if you have a meal in mind after Thanksgiving, like a week or two later, you can definitely make this meal. It's a very good, simple, easy meal. So I'll tell you how I do my roast for Thanksgiving. I just buy a double size of the family size English roast, pot roast. I buy that. It's about almost $20, close to $20, $22, whichever is easiest for you at your grocery store, at your local grocery store that you shop at. But I shop at my grocery store because I work there. So that's what I do. And then I make sure I look at my cabinets, make sure I have all my seasonings. If I need extra seasonings, I'll get them at my store. Like, I'll show you the seasonings that I get. Right. These boxes that I'm trying to do for Hamilton for his Christmas this Christmas presents, that I got boxes for my job so last week or two. So I'll show you the roast at the end. So the seasonings that I use for my roast, but sometimes I'll cut up my roast in chunks so that way it'll fit into my crock pot, because like I told you, my crock pot is from Hamilton. That's the name brand that I like using. There's other ones too, but I like to use Hamilton because it's a good product brand to me. I really like that brand, and nothing has gotten broken so far, thank the Lord Jesus. And it's about between a 6-quart or 7-quart crock pot that I have. But this is the seasonings that I use for my roast when I put my table or sprinkle on with my roast. This is the Lori seasoning salt, and I really like this. I use this for my shrimp, for my chicken, for my hamburgers, for my pot roast. I also use this too when I make my spaghetti, and that's pretty much about all the meat that I would use this for. And I really do like it. I just do very lightly. I just eyeball it so when I put it on my meat, but I make sure I rinse my actually meat off, like my roast, when I'm getting ready to prep for Thanksgiving dinner meal. I usually wash my meat out with just cold water, and then I will pat it down, put it onto a plate, of course, pat it down with at least 6 to 8 paper towels, and just pat it with that to make sure all the wetness is out of the pot roast. That's what I do. So then after that it's done a few times, I make sure I add this on to like my pot roast. But it says here you can, I'll tell you what you can actually add on. It's totally up to you, but this is what it says on the directions. Shake on beef, pork, poultry before and after cooking. Season any ground meat for great burgers. Add to french fries, bake or mashed potatoes. Perk up some popcorn, any style eggs, rice, and pasta dishes, and sprinkle on salads, vegetables, soups, and sauces. So that's what I normally do. So, but I don't. But there's sometimes I do put this onto my French fries when I make like hamburgers and French fries for Hamilton and I. So that's what I do. And if you didn't know that, and you're just stopping by to say hello, Hamilton is my soon-to-be husband, 2023 of June of next year. We are truly grateful and blessed for our wedding day. It's coming. We're supposed to get married this summer, but things happened. Life happened. Our work schedule was just too much insane, and we didn't have enough time to get what I needed to get to. So I have to wait till after this week of Thanksgiving, after Thanksgiving, and call and see if I can get important paperwork that I need for me. So yeah, back to that. Back to this. But this is what you can season it on. It's totally up to you, however you do it. I definitely do use this for my steaks, and I used I think it's by this brand. It's called the Spice Supreme. They have it's called steak and blackening seasoning. I used that too, and then I used King's Ford 2 steak seasoning as well. So for my steaks only, and sometimes my burgers sometimes too. But you can definitely use this seasoning on anything that it says right here. So definitely look on the back of your packaging of your Lori seasoning salt, and definitely make sure you get this. So you can put it onto your salads, like your pasta salads, oh my God, it's so good. Or sometimes, what is that name brand? I cannot think of the seasoning, but they have it in, is it, it's not McCormick, it's the other brand, and I think you all should know what I'm talking about. But it comes like in a red top, just our lid, just like this, and it's in a yellow packaging. I think it's for like your pasta salads, that you eat in the summertime, springtime, to get spring summer fit. So yeah, that's it. I cannot think of the name, but I do have that seasonings also as well, but I normally wait a few months after to buy it, because even though it lasts like a year or two, but sometimes I throw all out. I would throw out my old seasonings that I had, like, let's say in my cabinet, just for example, from like, let's say expired this year, but it'll expire in December. That's what I do. I throw out all my seasonings, not all of them, but some of them. But I check the date before when I go in the grocery store also as well. Definitely check your dates on your seasonings to make sure they have the right dates and they don't expire till, like, let's say 2023 or 2024. You have a couple years to use your seasonings. If you're like if you're a cook and you like to cook every single day for you and your family and for your husband, definitely keep that in mind too as well. But there's sometimes seasonings, they do get hardened sometimes if you don't use the whole entire seasoning. So that's what I definitely do. I would throw out my old seasonings and buy new ones, just real small ones that I really cook with, but not a lot. So, but yeah, but that is the first thing that I do with my pot roast. when I cut them in chunks, I will put that seasoning into like on my meat, and then I will use this too as well. This is the chicken one, but they have the beef one. This is the imitation chicken flavored bouillon cubes. This is what I use for like if I'm making some homemade chicken noodle soup. These are the cubes that I use, but I take the gold packaging off, of course, and I would use about at least 3 to 4 cups of water, and then put about 4 to 6 of these in there, you know, just to get its broth from here. And I also use these too for when I do my mashed potatoes. So Hamilton and I dinner was gonna be mac and cheese, but I changed it again. So I'll make mac and cheese later on, like the weekend or something like that. But I'm gonna have roast stuffing, homemade mashed potatoes, and greens. That's it. And then I'll show you the rolls package that I'll use. But I use about 4 to 6 of these. These are very good too. So if you have about if you have a pot, okay, and you want to put 4 to 6 boilings of water in there, you can. And then use about 2 to 4 of these, you know, so you can get it flavored to your mashed potatoes or to your chicken broth. I mean, you know, if you're making chicken noodle, if you're making chicken noodle soup with like your meat is already packaged, and of course it's out of the package from the grocery store, and you want to make some homemade chicken noodle soup, get the boneless, skinless chicken breast. You can put it in, you can cut it up in chunks if you want. You can leave it whole if you want, and then when it's done within 1 to 3 hours, I would use a bowl and then shred it up with some forks, with 2 forks, you know, and then put it back into the broth with your cut up celeries, with your cut up onions, with your cut up green bell pepper, and with your baby round carrots that look like this in the packaging. Or if you got to cut them up yourself, you know, with your knife, with a sharp knife, definitely do that. Put that in there, and then put whatever seasonings that you like for your chicken broth. You know, sometimes when I make homemade chicken noodle soup, I would definitely use also, of course, a sprinkle or 2 of red pepper flakes into my chicken broth, and that's about it. I don't make it that spicy. So, but yeah, this is what I use for my mashed potatoes. I definitely use this for my mashed potatoes, but for the beef bouillon cubes that they have, definitely check them out at your local grocery store. Get a couple of bottles of these so you can just have them in case, or if you just want to have these instead of getting the quart from Swanson or your name brand grocery store that you shop at and they have their brand, you definitely get it whatever's on sale. So yes, definitely remember to get the chicken imitation flavored chicken bouillon cubes. This is it right here, and it comes up, I don't know how many's in here, but it's a 1.7 net weight ounce. So I don't know how many get in here. I say about maybe 10, 12 in here, maybe the most. That's why I always grab at least 2 of these, and then 2 of the beef ones as well. So this is what I use for my mashed potatoes. And also I would use Daisy sour cream, like the squeeze container, or like the packaging of the Daisy sour cream. I would, when my potatoes are done, peeled, cut in cubes, and I would use about 4 cups of water, and then about 2 to 4 of these, and then let that soak in with, you know, this with the chicken cubes. I let that soak in for a good hour, and I stir it up, you know, and then once that hour, like 45 minutes, it's done with my potatoes, because it's on high. I give it at least about an hour, and then I'll cut it down to low, like medium low, for my pot with my mashed potatoes in it, already cubed, cut, and, you know, of course sliced, you know, I mean in chunks, or not sliced, but in chunks. And then I can take a fork and see if it'll come up soft. It's very soft, tender. I would drain my chicken flavored water, and then I'll drain that, and then I'll put in, like, let my potatoes get drained off. Shake your colander up just a little bit, you know, just a few times, you know. Put my potatoes back into my pot. Then that's when I would get my regular milk out. But this is what I do. I definitely would use vitamin D milk. You can use, if you don't like vitamin D, they have 2%, 1%, you know, milk. but that's just what I like in our household. We like vitamin D milk, but use whatever milk is fit for you and your family. But definitely do not forget to use imitation chicken flavored Beyond cubes for your mashed potatoes. Trust me, you will never ever go back to making regular mashed potatoes. Because when I was working at Target, this was about 4 to 5 years ago, before I came living back in Westland. And oh my goodness, this lady came into my store where I worked at Target, of course, and she was just looking so down, like, what's wrong? She came in my line and she was like, oh my goodness, my family does not like my mashed potatoes. I said, we were just talking. I was just like, well, what do you do? How do you prep it? She's like, well, I get my potatoes. I get about 6 to 8 potatoes. I use my not potato masher, but peeler, a potato peeler. I said, okay, all right. Okay, you're doing it right. And she's like, and I cut them in chunks, and I just use water. And my family does not. I said, oh, stop. Just stop. Okay. Go into our grocery department here. Get about 2 quarts of Swanson chicken broth. And that's what she did. She came back with the Swanson chicken broth. And she bought 2 of them. And I said, okay, put at least this whole quart into your 4 to 6 cups of water. How big you make your mashed potatoes, for how many people, I don't know. So she said it's about 10 of us. I said, okay. I said, all right. I said 4 to 6 cups of water. Let that get to a boil. You add your whole quart of chicken broth to your peeled and chunk potatoes. And I said, turn your burner on to high, high as whatever level, that's from your stove. I said, okay. And I was like, do not forget to add this chicken broth, because it will bring out the flavor to your mashed potatoes. And she's like, okay, all right. I said, once they're done within that 40 to 45 minute range, drain your potatoes, because they'll get soft, within 40 to 45 minutes. And that's what she did. And she definitely did that. And then she said I said, if you like, you can sneak in some sour cream. She's like, sour cream? I said, it's so good. And she put about a couple tablespoons of sour cream after, when she's done mashing them and they're cut up, they're tender and soft. I said, put a couple tablespoons of butter also as well to bring out more of that flavor. Sprinkle in like a couple of pinches of salt, but, if you want, and that's some fresh parsley, or if you don't have fresh parsley, you can use a container of parsley flakes, put it on top, and voila. She's like, oh my god. She came back like 2 days later, and she was like, oh my god, because she was getting ready to do another meal for her and her family, for her and like 10 people. And she's like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god. She's like, oh my gosh. She's like, you're just so sweet. You're such an amazing person. Thank you so much. And she's like, everybody like my mashed potatoes now. Thank you. She's like, you need to be a chef. She's like, you should be a chef that travels, to people's homes that can't cook, or not can't cook, but do not learn how to cook. They know the basics, but they want to up their game in their cooking. She's like, won't you do that? She's like, you can make some good money for that per hour. I was like, I'm on my feet as much as I am now, and I'm tired. She's like, oh my gosh. She's like, just keep that in mind. Keep that in mind. I said, okay, thank you so much. And then like a few months later, like 2 months later, it was getting ready to be Thanksgiving. She told me, she's like, every time my family now wants me to make mashed potatoes, thanks to you. And I was like, oh, you welcome. You very welcome. And it was so funny. I just like, Lord, thank you, Jesus, for giving me the talents that my mom taught me, how to cook, when I was 3, my grandmothers, my aunts, and of course my uncles too. They know how to throw down too as well. So, and the men the men on my mom's family and my dad's family, don't let them fool you, because they can cook, okay? They can throw down in the kitchen as well. So, yeah, but that's just, I was just like so happy and just so blessed that I can put my talents out on someone else, tips and ideas. So I love to cook. I love to cook. Cooking is just my relaxation zen mode home, where I can cook in my own home. Thank the Lord Jesus for that, and also my like my best friends, they will call me too. One of them will, they both call me, of course. We call each other, But one of my best friends, you know, she'll call me like, Don, I need help. I'm doing this wrong. I'm doing this knee wrong. I'm like, okay, calm down. I'm on the phone. Let's video chat so I can see what you're doing. Because if you're talking to me on the phone, I can't see what you're doing. So I need to see what you're doing. So, you know, I give her advice, tips, how to do it, you know, from the beginning to the middle to the end, to your company comes over to your home. You will be so, they will be impressed, you know, with your meal, and you'll be proud of yourself because you cooked it, you know. So it was like, you need to be a home traveling chef. I said, no. I said, I'm not trying to go to school for that, because that's, no, thank you. God has other plans for me. So yeah, but that's just what I do, you know, time to time, you know. And I have customers too that come in my, not just my store, sorry, Hamilton's like grocery store where we work at, you know, and they come in our store, you know, and they ask for opinions, tips, and ideas, you know, because there's a lot of women, even men, that don't know how to cook. So, you know, I don't mind telling you, you know, inspiring you, I hope, you know. So this is what I love to do. So I hope my video, a part one, it will inspire you. Excuse me, I'm so sorry, I apologize. I hope it will inspire you to get more in the kitchen, to be more confident in your kitchen, you know, cook more, you know, try out different dishes, because sometimes in your grocery store, in your meat section or like department, whichever, sometimes they'll have like a long type of end cap shelf, you know, by itself, with different meals, you know, with cards, you know. Definitely take a few of them because they're free, you know, so that's what they're for. If you want to do something different, or bake, or learn how to make different type of breads, you know, for you and your family, instead of every once in a while going out, because that's wasting, excuse me, you're wasting between $40 to $100 on just takeout food. And there's nothing wrong with going takeout. Trust me, there's nothing wrong with seeing the world, see what people else are doing, you know, because that's what Hamilton and I do. Well, every once in a while we may go out, but we do have a surprise for one another that we want to do so bad. We want another, just to go out, you know, to, I think, Olive Garden. It's Olive Garden. We want to go to, and Cheesecake Factory is number two. Those two restaurants I want to go so bad, because I love Italian food, and everybody thinks I'm Italian. I said, no, I'm not Italian. I wish I was. Because they love pasta like I do. So yeah, I can eat pasta almost every single day, but I get burnt out from it sometimes. So I try to switch up my meals. I try to figure out what to do like 2 or 3 days later after we're done with one meal. Trust me, my mind is always thinking of food. When I'm at work, of course, I work in a grocery store, so my mind is always on food. Try to cook something different for Hamilton and I. So I do want to make my gumbo for him and I. So that will be coming up. I will tell you of the list of what I'll do to my gumbo, how to make it. So look out for that video. I know I've been saying look out for this video and for that and for that. I just give me time. Time is all I'm asking for, and just your patience. I appreciate your patience and loving me and accepting me for who I am, what I am. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry I've been letting you all down, and I hope I'm not, but I hope I am. When I come on a video and do a video, I hope I am inspiring you all, or someone out there, to just go for it. Don't push yourself back, because if you push yourself back, you're missing out on opportunities, blissful opportunities right in front of you. So do not block yourself. Don't block your blessings. Don't block them, okay? Go for it. Whatever positivity it is, your family supporting you, your husband supporting you, your husband, guys, your wife is supporting you, your husband supporting you, how it goes in your household, okay? In your household. So, you know, definitely go forward with your dreams and goals. So, okay, the next seasoning I use for my pot roast is, my hair is in the way, sorry. I definitely use, this is from Walmart. This is the Great Value brand, and I like Great Value. Their brand for Walmart. It's nothing wrong with it. It's good. It's a very good seasoning. This is what I definitely try to pick up. I try to pick up at least 2 to 3 of these. I used to, a long time ago, use garlic salt, and I found out garlic salt is not good for me. as a diabetic type 2, so I try to, I cut it out, but there's sometimes I'll use a little bit of garlic salt, just a little bit of it in my meats. So, and then in my pot roast also I use onion powder. This is from my grocery store. I use a sprinkle of that onto my meat. And then this, I like to use the other one too, but this is the one I definitely use, the Goya Abado. Hope I'm saying it right. I'm gonna stop. But this is an all-purpose. This is an all-purpose seasoning, so it goes for your hamburger, like fish, your chicken, your steak, even tomatoes. It goes for your vegetables. To wake up your seasoning, not seasoning, of your meats, your food. And then I use this one as well, the parsley flakes. I put this into my flour. So I get a small separate like bowl, and then that's when I add my meat into my seasoned flour, and then I add my seasoning onto my meat before I add to my flour. Then I just get a couple of tablespoons or more, like about 2 to 3 tablespoons of vegetable oil to my skillet, my non-stick skillet. I will let that get heated up for about 5 minutes, and then I shake off the excess of any flour to the bowl, so it won't get into the pan. But if it does, that's okay for the pot roast. So you can add that drippings, the seasonings, and the vegetable oil onto your pot roast when you cut it up in chunks, so that way you and your family can have a piece or two of your pot roast. And definitely when you put all of your meat, seasonings, drippings, vegetable oil into your pot roast, definitely put it on low, because it will cook from the time you start to cook it. And from, like, let's say you get home, let's say at 5 o'clock tomorrow, you have it on tonight, or you have it on early in the morning. If you have to be up, like if you have to be at work at 10 o'clock in the morning, and you're just about getting you're done getting ready for work or whichever, or if you have a day or two off, for the weekend off, and you want to make a really nice hot meal, definitely make sure your crock pot is on low, because from, let's say, from 4 to 6 hours it's done, but you want it to be pulled off the fork. So juicy and good. I love my pot roast. But this is just what I do to my pot roast. I'm sorry, I'm thinking of eating my pot roast right now, but I just put it on about an hour ago, so it will be done tomorrow night by the time I get home, because it's cooked on low with the crock pot. So definitely make sure you cook your pot roast. But it's totally up to you though. You don't have to do what I do, but this is what I do for my home. For Hamilton and I put my pot roast on low, and I let it go all night. From the time I'm done with everything, putting it in, the meats, everything, the seasonings, extra seasonings that I add on to the pot roast, that's once it's in a crock pot, I definitely do that. And also make sure you use Lipton onion, like soup package. You use one soup, just use the package, just open it, cut it up with some scissors, put the whole package in there, add out 2 to 3 sprinkles on like Worcestershire sauce. That's what I do, and it brings out more flavor to your meat also as well. Then you will use the whole quart of either Swanson's beef broth, or you can use whatever grocery store brand that they sell at your grocery store. Use the whole the whole 1 quart of beef broth into the crock pot. Don't put too much, because you're gonna flow it with water. So just make sure it's just right at enough level to your crock pot, and then stir it up, with your onion lemon soup package, your Worcestershire sauce, your beef broth, 1 quart, and then extra seasonings, onto your meat, also as well. Once it's in the crock pot, stir it up once or twice, put the lid on it, let it go, and it will be done. But the next day, by the time you get home, it will definitely be pulled. Once you take just one piece, it will fall off. It will just come right off your fork. That's just what I like to do. And also too, as well, If you're home all day, and the husband's at work, whatever, and you're, at home with the kids, or the kids is at school. I'm sorry. This is like let's say it's a Friday or Thursday night. You want to make this meal, and this is like after Thanksgiving. If you can't, do your Thanksgiving at your home, you want to just make a small, simple Thanksgiving meal. This is like a favorite meat of mine. I do like turkey. I do not get me wrong. I like turkey. I like the white part of the turkey, and that's pretty much about it. I don't like the dark. I do love the skin. Trust me, the skin. It'd be so good. Yes. Let me put some more lip oil on my lips. But yeah, but that's just what I do to my pot roast. It comes out so good. And yes, I definitely get props to my husband to be. He definitely loves my cooking, and he does cooks. He makes some good different food. He makes like stir fry food, like with, oh, also I do have a meal too for stir fry too. So I'll give you a tip, an idea for that too. So I'll start doing separate meals ideas to my channel, so it can be something a little bit different, because I do love to cook. I am the cook, and Hamilton is a really good, awesome cook too. I love you, babe. If you're watching this video, I love you so much. You're an amazing man. I love you. Yeah, but that's just what I do for my meal. And also, oh, let's see, my mac and cheese. My mac and cheese. Did I bring it in? I did not. But oh, and then this is the rolls that I was telling you about too. I use the Aunt Millie rolls, or I use the Hawaiian rolls. For this Hamilton and I, 'cause it comes in a package, in the orange package for the Hawaiian rolls. But this was on sale to $4, so it's $2 here. This is the rolls that I cook with. Sometimes I just put them onto my cookie sheet with a little bit of like butter on the cookie sheet, but not too much butter. And then I put it in the oven for like 5 minutes or less. Take them out, and they're nice and soft. They're soft, just like this. And I cut up like the top part and put butter in between it, and it's done. So that's just what I do for my rolls. I'll put them right here. That's just what I do for my rolls. But for my mac and cheese, I would take a box of any brand, like it's called Barellas, Mullers. Those are the type of brands that I use for my mac and cheese, but I use the medium shells. I will use 4 to 6 cups of water. Let it cook on high to my burner, my stove. Let it go for about 15-20 minutes. I say about 15 minutes it should be done. It should be boiling hot. Your water should be boiling hot. I add a couple pinches of salt to my boiling water. Let that sit for another minute or so. Then I open up my box to Mullers or Briella's medium shells. You put that in, stir it up, and put a little bit more butter and vegetable oil to my shells. Just a little bit, like about a tablespoon, and that's about it. Maybe about 2 tablespoons, but not too much of vegetable oil, because you don't want your noodles to get too, let's say, like soggy, like wet, like too soft. Yeah, too soft. So that's just how I do my spaghetti noodles also as well. And then stir it up once or twice. Let it cook, for about whatever the packaging says. You can do them al dente. I like to do them soft so it can be cooked just right. So that's what I do. Once that 20 minutes, 25 minutes is done, usually I would take a fork, just put my fork into one noodle, test it out and try and see, because you always, as a cook, you always must try to taste your food and clean as you go in your kitchen, because it will be less work for you also as well. That's a tip. Remember that tip. Always make sure you are cooking and cleaning as you go, and tasting as you go also as well, so that's what I do for my noodles. And then once that is drained, I get my colander, drain my noodles. Once they're nice and soft how I like them, I put them back into the pot. I will reserve a little bit of that that water, so I can have some just enough, just right. And then once that is completely, done, just a little bit, I'll just put just like a very little bit, like a tablespoon or two, into my hot pasta. Then I would get either, you can use evaporated milk. It's by Carnation. That's just what I do for my milk. I use about half of the can, and I think it's in a 1.4 or 1.7 ounce, in a can. So I just use half of that can. Then I use a small jar of my pimentos. They're like red. Uh, they look like red pepper, bell peppers, but they're real tiny and they're small. They're about like the size of half of my pinky. They're about that size, but they're small. They're in small chunks. They're in a glass jar, and they just say pimentos on the top of the jar. I use that. I would drain the juice that comes from there. Sometimes I'll use 2 jars or 1 jar, but I normally use one. But if you like pimentos, they're very mild tasting too, so they're not hot where they're gonna burn your mouth, burn your tongue. So no, they're very mild, extremely mild. And I add that into my noodles with like with my medium shell macaroni cheese. And then I would add my already grated cheese, my black pepper, and my evaporated milk or vitamin D milk. I just eyeball my vitamin D milk, but with the evaporation Carnation milk that I use, sometimes I switch it up. I'll just eyeball it just little by little, you know. Okay, that's it. And if I need more, I would add more to it. Taste it as well. Taste it. Put a sprinkle of salt to it and black pepper as well. Sprinkle it with your container, with your black pepper, however it comes in. Taste it, and then once that is to your liking, use a casserole dish between a 9, 11, 8 by 11, or 8 by 10, or however, or 9 by 13, dish if you're feeding a lot of people. This is what I do. My macaroni and cheese, I use a like butter, a stick of butter, do it like that to my glass pan casserole dish. Make sure the butter is all on all sides. Make sure your casserole dish is clean. Of course, you know this, but make sure it's clean. And once that's done, you add your stick of butter to all the sides, to your left corner, right corner, left corner, right corner, whichever the casserole dish is. If it's round, that's fine. If it's square, that's fine too as well. If it's like this size, it's fine. You can use 2 small pans just like that. Put them in. So you want to have and then you also into your separate bowl with your macaroni cheese mixture of your noodles, your cheese, your somewhat of your cheese, shredded cheese, and then your pimentos, your salt, and your black pepper that's already sprinkled into your mixture of your noodles. Make sure that's stirred well. Then you add half of your layer of your macaroni noodles into the pan. Make sure it's flat, spread it out, make sure it's flat like that. Then you add your cheese, your shredded cheese some more. Then you do your second layer, same thing, repeat it again, add more cheese. But if you have a deep dish of a casserole dish that's really deep, you want to do a third layer, you can, but make sure, I wouldn't do it, I'll just do 2 layers, so that way if it spills, overly, you can definitely use a type of pan, flat jelly pan or something like that, in case it'll drip. You have that onto your other rack of your stove to make sure it has no dripping. So that's how you can save your macaroni cheese. Do that also as well, and then you add more cheese onto it. So you add cheese, your macaroni mixture, cheese, your noodles mixture, and more cheese. Just make sure that cheese is just ooey gooey into your macaroni cheese. Put it on to I put on 350. Yep. I put between 300 and to 350 because I don't want it to because I don't like my macaroni cheese with the cheese crusty. That's just what I don't, but sometimes I do. So I put it between 300 and 350. Let it go for the first 25 minutes. Once you see the cheese boiling and everything, ooey gooey, Let it go for the 15 more minutes. 15 minutes, that's it. So you have about 35 to 40 minutes to make sure it's not too, brown on top. But that's just me. I don't like my macaroni cheese too brown on the top. That's just, I don't like crust that much. Only crust I will eat is from deep dish pizza from Little Caesars. Yeah. Okay, back to what I was saying. Yeah, so then I take it out the oven, and then that's it, and it's good to go. So yeah, that's it. How I make my macaroni cheese. Let it cool down for a few minutes, to like 15-30 minutes. Serve it up to your family. Enjoy it. So that is my tip of my macaroni cheese. I gave you the tips on, also onto my greens too as well. I just get the packaged bag. It's already pre-washed, everything like that. That's in the bag. But once I get it home, if I got to cook that night or something like that, I will definitely make sure that I wash it 2 more times. Even though it's pre-washed, I like to wash it 2 more times with a little bit of sprinkle of salt on to my watered salt, greens. I shake them up a little bit, shake them up again, shake them. I shake them about 2 or 3 times, but I do wash them at least 2 more times when I get them home. And then and then you can also use for your meat. You can use smoked neck bones if you want, or smoked turkey drumsticks. Put them in about 2 to 4 or 6 cups of water, boiling water. Cook it on low heat, like medium heat at first, then cook it on low, because you're probably asleep. You don't want your house up. You don't want your house to be smoky. So before you go to bed, make sure your water's on high. Reduce it to high for that first hour, and then once that hour is done, put your lid on there, and then reduce your heat to your meat. Put that on low. Once that's done, your meat is done within a couple of hours. Or if you want it on 3 hours, you can do it 3 hours. And then once that meat is done, soft, how you want it to be, put into a bowl, shred it. And you use 2 forks to shred your meat. Now you leave your shredded meat, but throw away your bones. But if you want, if you have a dog, give your dog, the bones, of course. But for your meat, you can season your meat with Lori seasoned salt right here, and onion powder, garlic powder, and that is it. And also use about 1 to 2 tablespoons also of chicken broth. Just a little bit, not too much, just 1 to 2 tablespoons, because your meat has seasoning already. And then once your onions, you can use onions too if you want, it's up to you, but I do cut up a whole yellow onion, chop it up to whatever. You can do it in slices, chunks, however you want to do it. I like to do it in slices, so that way you can taste the onions. Now once your meat is cooled down, shredded, to your liking, add your onions to your pot, your shredded meat, a handful of greens at a time. If you want to use mixed greens, collard greens, turnip greens, mixed greens, collard greens, however you want to use all 3. It gives it a flavor, if you use all 3. But I just like to use, for Hamilton and I like to use mixed greens, 2 bags of that, and 2 collard greens. That's what I like to do for us. And then once that is done, it's wilted down, within less than 5-10 minutes, about 10-15, I say about 10-15 minutes. Then you wilt it down with your spoon. Take your time with your greens. Trust me, take your time with your whole entire meal. For Thanksgiving, or if you're trying to do a special occasion, for you and your significant other, you want to make him a really, really nice meal, definitely do this. Take your time with your meal. Get yourself ready, prepared when he comes home, or she comes home, guys, fellas, if you cook once in a while, but you want to make your girl a sweet, nice, southern romantic meal, it works. Trust me, it works. Oh yeah. So that, and just wilt it down. Check it after that first or 2 batches down, welted down to your pot. But use a big enough pot though. The pot that I have is like a cast iron skillet pot, and I got this from the thrift store. So Hey, check out your thrift stores for your pots and skillets and things like that, cookware, but make sure you wash them first after you get home. And yeah, that's about it for my macaroni cheese and greens and my pot roast. And I already told you about my mashed potatoes, so that is pretty about it. And the stuffing is just in a stove top box. I'm cheating this year like I always do. Yeah. But for my but for my stovetop um stuffing, like I use chicken and sage. So I use the whole package of sage and the whole package of chicken stuffing from stovetop. What I do is I use about a little bit of the chicken broth into it, and then I use a little bit of butter, and that's it, and it's done. Taste your meals, taste your food as you go, everybody. Please taste your food as you go. So if you're a beginner in the kitchen, you know how to cook stuff, boil stuff like water, of course. So yeah, so definitely just taste your food. You actually got this year. I know you can do it, because if I can do it, you can do it. Okay, so you all enjoy your wonderful, blessed, prepared Thanksgiving dinner meal, and I hope you liked this one for part 2. And definitely give it a thumbs up, comment, like, and subscribe, and also leave any comment below. So if you want me to do more food talk or videos, stuff like that, I would definitely do that. I would love to do that, because I love food. Food to me is it's a comfort food to me. So I really do love watching it. And also, Hamilton and I, we do watch Food Network together. So that's one of our favorite TV shows to watch also as well. And yeah, definitely take your time in your kitchen, because it's just you in your kitchen. Don't let nobody else in your kitchen, because I don't. Hamilton knows to stay away from my kitchen when I'm cooking. But when he cooks, I stay away from also it as well, because that's his time, to make us a really nice romantic meal. So yes, so I will give you more tips and ideas if you want me to do more videos like this for cooking. I would love to do that, because I love to cook. I love to eat as well. So yeah, so definitely give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. If you want to see more videos like this, please list them in the comment below. Definitely tell your family and friends all about the beauty room. And once again, thank you. Welcome to the beauty room family. God bless you. God bless you. God bless you. Oh, and what's on right here? I just made some cinnamon rolls. I got the icing onto my hoodie. So I apologize about that. So excuse me. But yeah, but I just got done making some cinnamon rolls for Hamilton and I. We're watching Family Guy. That's for adults, kids. It's not for you. So hope you all have a good rest of the week, kids in school. Adults, enjoy your wonderful week so far. You're always in my thoughts and prayers for sure. Thank you so much for just stopping by to the beauty room. God bless you. Please tell your family and friends all about the beauty room. And yes, so please enjoy and have a safe and happy, blessed, healthy Thanksgiving. Bye.